Here we've got a 80 series Land Cruiser, depot produced assembly. It's an interesting one. Took us a while to kind of figure this out. We've done a few builds in the past and we wanted to offer these to the community, but then Depot discontinued the light and now it is available again. Now the factory lights have the fluted lenses. It's got the lines, it looks like a grid. That essentially is the optic. And the reflector itself is just fully, it just plain. It doesn't have the lines in it like you see in the reflector in the back. That is the headlight reflector in the back around the bulb. It actually uses an H4 bulb. It's a very interesting setup. Yeah, it's unconventional, this whole thing. However, Depot came out with a set. I think they call it a Euro style, Euro glass. It's essentially glass lens. It is fully clear, so there are no lines in it. Gives you a little bit of a modern look. I can almost guarantee an LED bulb inside of these aftermarket reflector lights isn't going to produce anything meaningful. There's no real good options for the 80 series Land Cruisers, and we're going to convert this. We'll show you the process, we'll show you some comparisons, and we'll show you how this looks when it's done. The point is to have a period correct look on your 80 series Land Cruiser with modern day performance. We'll be offering this as a package. You'll be able to purchase the retrofit and the assemblies all together, and it'll be plug and play on your Land Cruiser, okay? So we'll show you how this goes, but stay tuned. We're definitely excited about this. Again, we've built a few, but it's time for a refresher, and we've never done a comprehensive, proper video on the, before and after and what to expect. And I think this is going to be a popular one with our community because we already serve a lot of 100 series Land Cruisers, the pre and the post facelift ones. And modern ones are LED, and that's a whole nother story, but there's certainly a market for these older vehicles at this point, okay? Okay, about midway through on the conversion, we've got one side completed, a lot of testing, trying to figure out what works best, and luckily we're able to fit in a full-size projector. Gives you a little bit more intensity, a little bit more strength, a little bit of a better beam spread, better high beam. And we divert to our go-to. That's the G5 BRT by Xenon with a Apollo 2.0 shroud with a flat top. It'll fit really, really well once that housing's on. And we've got the factory Depot assembly with the H4 halogen bulbs lit up right now to show you. We're gonna show you how the output looks on both of these and just do a quick comparison so you know what you're getting into. Okay, so as you saw, these lights are a little bit hard to stand up by themselves, so we've got it rigged up, just aiming at the wall, fairly centered, and you can see it barely reaches the outsides of this wall. We're at 25 feet, and the wall is about 19 feet wide, so you wouldn't have great width with these lamps in the first place. Now, Depot assemblies are pretty good for aftermarket. They aren't quite as good as original. However, I have a feeling these might surpass the output of the original assemblies on the US spec 80 series Land Cruiser. But either way, let's call it similar or maybe a little bit better. Fairly well defined. I mean, there's no glare above the cutoff. I'm sure that would change with a strong HID bulb or maybe some sort of LED bulb, HID or LED bulb. But you can see it's got that typical kind of like a high kick flare up on the right hand side, which is sort of annoying, especially when you don't have a very wide beam. And yeah, you can take a look at it. I mean, you can see it's a little spotty. The light intensity is just, it's pretty center weighted overall. All right, we'll also show you the additional high beam that's provided. It's a halogen H1 bulb. The height's pretty decent. It's pretty bright. I've got my lux meter. We'll do a quick, I guess we'll do it backwards. We'll do a quick high beam intensity. I think I saw about 1600 there, right at the hot spot. And let's go back to low beam. So if we do low beam only, trying to get a visual on where the center zone is. About 150 lux. I mean, not surprising. It's not that great. And you can see this, it really has almost no width. I mean, it's pretty shocking. So, we know Toyota Land Cruiser owners really demand the best when it comes to upgrading and getting their vehicles up to modern day performance levels. So I think this light output comparison will be beneficial to see what you're actually getting into. Okay, we've got the G5 BRT up top. That's the Osram Nightbreaker Laser Next Gen bulbs. Those are the ones that we recommend if you want the absolute best performance on the market. I mean, first and foremost, check out the width. Not only does it span across the wall, it spans way further than the wall. We've got a fairly narrow warehouse, so we can't show true beam spread at this distance. However, you can see the light intensity is much more uniform, consistent, and it's a lot better overall. And it's nice and straight. You don't have that high kick up, which is going to be annoying when you're behind somebody, when you're kicking up the lights, especially if you're lifted or, you've got some really bright bulbs in there. This setup is probably best left with the original halogen bulbs, unless we're doing a full retrofit conversion like we are now. But yeah, we'll do a lux reading for the low and high beam next, and we'll show you what you could expect. Okay, now here is the G5 BRT just by itself. We've got it set up on the table so we can show you the low and high beam. So this will be in addition to the halogen high beam, which the H1 was more of like a pencil beam. That's why it was so bright. This will lift up the shield, essentially drop the shield and let all the light out of the projector, giving you a high beam mode on the projector. So we'll show you how the bi-xenon works in conjunction with the factory halogen. Okay, so we'll do a quick lux comparison again. And this will be our after. So we got it's a high 600 at some point. And now we'll do high beam mode. So before the lux was about, I think 150, and we jumped up to about 600. And before I think, I forgot what it was, about 1500 or so, but right in the intensity zone, we've got well over 2000 lux with the combination of the halogen and the bi-xenon. So really strong. Down the road performance, of course, you can mount some pods on the Land Cruiser and go crazy with light bars, but this is pretty cool because it's practical approach to everyday driving, but you also have great visibility when you're out on the trails or out in the open roads. And that's what you can expect from the conversion. Okay, now it's all sealed up, ready to go. The housing's back in there, shroud's been epoxied on. You can see the G5 BRT has that AR coating on the lens. It's like a little bit of purple blue, and you can only see it when the light hits it at the right angle. The shop lights are pretty bright here. This came out awesome. It looks really kind of factory setup. It's really what we aim for, and it retains that period correct look. It's a modern facelift without looking too funky and too aftermarket, which is exactly what we go for. To show off the back, to show you how this is set up for this this first set that we built. The cars in the US use a 9005, 9006. We'll have a plug and play adapter here. This is our NHK Premium D2S adapter. It comes out, and this is what connects directly into the ballast. So these are matching connections. The ballast will be mounted in the engine bay. You can use 3M double-sided tape. You can use self-tapping screws. You can use an existing mount, whatever you want to do. And then you'll have a feed that matches your low beam. And that's essentially it. This is ballast ground, and you can just zip tie this, put it away. But that's what the back end looks like. We aim for as tidy as possible. We make it as plug and play as possible. The adjusters, of course, still function, so you'll get it back and you'll be able to adjust the height as well as the left and right. So these are independently adjustable for low and high beam. So it's pretty cool. So we hope you like what you see. You can find out more on the details on the site. We'll leave a link in the description below. But this is our 80 series Land Cruiser conversion with the depot headlight assemblies.